Today, I want to talk about what to do when your partner stops appreciating you. And if anyone has ever gone through this, you know how excruciating it can be. But I'm here to tell you that there are several things that you can do to make yourself feel whole again. All of this is based on my own experience as well. So please know that I can definitely relate to this topic. And if you have clicked on this link, then you obviously have felt in some way that your partner has not been appreciating you or has stopped. So the very first thing that you can do is to focus your energy, focus your love, focus your attention, all of that energy that you have been giving to this person, bring all of that back to yourself. Focus on staying grounded, focus on nourishing your body, nourishing your soul, nourishing your emotions, nourishing your mental plane, nourishing all of that. So what can you do today to nourish yourself? What are the things that you feel nurtured and nourished when you do them? So think of that, and that could look very different to a lot of people. That could look like hanging out with your best friends. That could look like having a nice spa date, or getting a really good massage, or going out to the beach, or going out to nature and just staying grounded. That could look like meditating. That could look like doing yoga. That could look like going out for a really, really nice meal. So whatever it is that nourishes you and nourishes your soul, do that and bring all of that focus back to yourself. And this is really, really important, because when your partner has stopped appreciating you, it means that you are giving too much of your attention to that person, okay? So bring all of that beautiful energy of yours back to yourself. Now, the second tip is really important. It is so crucial. Whatever it is that your partner has stopped appreciating you for, give that appreciation back to yourself. So it could be, for me, it was my partner was not responding to my comments on his Instagram. And this sounds really trivial and silly, but I really do value people reciprocating and acknowledging me. So when he stopped responding to my comments, you know what, I'm gonna give you this example down the track, because it's going to cover all of the different things that I'm going to talk about later on, and you're going to understand why all of these tips work. So let's go back to the second tip, which is give that appreciation back to yourself. So for instance, if your partner has stopped appreciating your cooking, or he or she does not comment on how amazing and delicious it is, and if he doesn't post your cooking, or he doesn't really post your photos on Instagram or on Facebook, all of those things, then do that yourself. If you appreciate that, then when you cook a nice meal, take a photo of it, post it to your story, or send it to a friend who's going to appreciate it, or just take a photo of it yourself and just be like, wow, like this meal looks bloody amazing. So it could be something like that, or it could be something like your partner, has stopped appreciating you spending time together. So you can go out on your own, or you can go out with your best friends, and you can, bring that appreciation back and say, you know what, I am so fun to be around. Like, I appreciate myself so much. Just bring all of that appreciation back to yourself and give it to yourself as well, because honestly, other people cannot appreciate you if you don't appreciate yourself first. So have that appreciation, have that love for yourself, give it back to you, because you're the most important relationship you're ever gonna have, right? The relationship that you have with yourself. Okay, so the third thing that you can do is to stop giving whatever it is that you've been giving to your partner, or stop doing whatever it is that you have been doing to your partner that they don't appreciate. So they clearly don't appreciate it, right? This is why you've clicked this video. So whatever it is that you're doing that you want them to appreciate but they don't appreciate, stop doing that, or do little of it, do less of it. I mean, why would you keep giving to someone who don't appreciate it? You would much rather use that beautiful energy of yours to do better things with your time. And I do want to make a really important note here. If whatever it is that you're doing from the bottom of your heart, right? You're giving because you really want to give. It doesn't matter if they appreciate it or not, then fine. By all means, go ahead and do it. I just think though that in any relationship, whether it be a partnership or it could be marriage, right? Or it could be friends or work colleagues, anything like that, there needs to be a fair exchange of energy, because all life and everything in the universe needs to be balanced. So if you're giving, and the person is taking, guess what? Your cup is empty. The way I see it is two people, when you come together, one person is holding a cup, and this is a really beautiful analogy to have. One person is holding a cup, the other person is holding a cup, okay? Everyone has a cup. Now, I'm gonna pour a little bit into your cup because I love you, because I want to, because it makes me feel good, because I wanna do this for you. If the other person, okay, keeps on allowing you to give because they love it too, of course, why wouldn't anyone want that attention, want that love from someone else? So if they said, okay, well, yes, keep giving it to me, keep giving me all your love, but I'm not going to give anything back to you. So then you pour a little bit more every day, and yes, maybe they might pour a little bit in there as well, but if it's rare or if it's not as consistent, then what is going to end up happening is that your cup is going to run empty real quick and their cup is going to remain full. So perhaps use that analogy when you're going through life, having different relationships, and just ask yourself, like, how full is my cup right now? And is this person contributing? It doesn't have to be equal, okay? Nothing is transactional here, but there needs to be some form of exchange, okay? And it needs to be somewhat balanced. So ask yourself, is my cup full? Is it balanced? Is my relationship with this person balanced? Or am I doing a lot of the work? Am I filling their cup so much that mine is actually running low on empty? Because when we're doing that from that depleted state, it's very easy for us to feel resentful. It's very easy for us to get angry. So only give when your cup is full as well, because then you're giving from an overflowing state, right? And how can you do that? Well, we can talk about that another time. But going back to that point is to, reduce how much you're giving to the other person, because if they don't appreciate it, then you're wasting your beautiful energy, and you could give that energy to someone else or to yourself. And that energy is going to be more meaningful that way, okay? All right, the fourth tip is to have gratitude. Now, I know this is gonna sound so weird because of what we've just been talking about, but what I mean by having gratitude is that sometimes us human beings, we tend to focus on the negatives. We sometimes tend to focus on what's not going right in a relationship. And our ego is wired that way. So it's, not always our fault, but it is good to be aware of it. So this is why gratitude is really important and helps with creating this awareness, because when we can sit down and just have gratitude about what are the things that this person has been doing for me, what ways have they been appreciating me, what ways have they been acknowledging me, what ways have they been validating me, and just figure that out, and see, actually there's a lot of things that this person appreciates me for, or a lot of things that this person gives to me as well. Okay, it's never like a give and take too much of a situation. And I'm not here to say, this person needs to be giving it to you as well and all of that. But in reality, yes, like we do need to give and take. It's like our breath. And I think Marissa Peers, she said this the best. Love is like how we breathe. When we breathe in too much and we're not exhaling, then it's stuck, right? We can't exhale. So love is kind of like that, where you give and then you take, and then you give and then you take, and you give and then you take. So it's very balanced, like beautiful flow of beautiful dance, So when you're having gratitude, you can think about all of the ways that this person has been, as I've said, appreciating you, has been acknowledging you. So think of it from that sense, and really see if this little thing that they haven't been appreciating you for, is that enough for you to have a huge argument over, or is it something so small that perhaps you can just move on and understand, what, everyone values things differently. And although I may value this other person doesn't, which is okay because we're all different. But if we can just come from that, like, let's have a check-in. What can I be grateful for about this person? And if you can, have a pretty solid list of things that you're grateful for this person, then that's perfect. It's going to give you a really solid place to go to the fourth step. So the next step is to express how you feel. So us feminine women, we need to express how we feel, and we can do this vulnerably. We can do this gently. I don't know if gently is a word. We can do this gently. So we don't have to have, an argument where we're blaming the person. And although, this is easier said than done. Like sometimes we just feel angry, and yes, it comes out sometimes. It's happened to me many times. But the best way to deal with this kind of situation is to have a very vulnerable discussion or a vulnerable dialogue with your partner. And you can do this, and it's perfect because you've just had that gratitude list. You've just written out like, okay, yeah, this person, has been doing these things for me. So I really appreciate those things. And then when you have that discussion with the person, you can start off with that. You can start off with the things that you appreciate about them, the things that that they appreciate you for. And then just express, I really appreciate how you've been so consistent with your communication, or I appreciate how much you spend time with me, and I appreciate that you're available to help whenever I need your help. However, there's this thing that I feel not appreciated for, and just express whatever that is. And I would like to understand, is there something that you don't like, the way I do it, or can we discuss that a bit more? Just open up the conversation. And if they say, look, yes, I appreciate you doing this thing, but you really don't have to. Or yes, I appreciate you doing this thing, but you don't have to do it so much. Whatever it is, at least you can understand from their perspective what they think, what they truly think. Because a lot of the times we have a view that's based on our assumption of how this person must be feeling, or they must not appreciate us because they didn't do this or they didn't do that. But if you can have this discussion with them, and if they can express also like their perspective, then at least you have both sides, and he or she also understands where you're coming from, and also understands how you're feeling, which is really important. You need to express that, express how you're feeling, be vulnerable about it, and see where that conversation goes. Have no expectations of how that conversation is going to go. Just know that the purpose of it is for you to express how you feel so that he is aware. And if there is something that he can do to make you feel appreciated, then and if he does that, then that will be perfect, right? But not everyone is going to do that, because like I said, everyone has different values. And if it's something that he just doesn't care about, or he just doesn't really value, then he's not going to do much about it. You know, even though you tell him like 1,000 times, I want you to do this, I want you to appreciate me for this. If he does not appreciate that thing, if he doesn't value that thing that you do for him, then it doesn't matter how many times you tell him, he's just not going to do it. Nobody likes to change, right? For people, especially when it comes down to their values. So this goes on to the next point, which is evaluate. Evaluate your circumstances. Evaluate your relationship. Evaluate if you're really content with where the relationship is and where it's heading. And see, like, is this relationship that I want to have? Is this the relationship that I want in the future? Is this person's behavior okay? Because if they consistently not appreciate you for several things, if they don't appreciate you communicating with them, you know, I had a girlfriend whose boyfriend wanted 4 weeks break, and he just said, look, you know, I'm going through so many things, I just want some time off, and you know, I'll call you back when I you know, when I get out of this rut. And I just thought that was the weirdest thing. And everyone is different, okay? We all need breaks sometimes. But I think if an adult needs a break like that, it's most likely because they just feel like the relationship is not for them, or whatever the case is. No one knows why people do certain things. The only thing you have control of is whether you are going to accept it. So whether you're going to accept a person's behavior. And that is going to dictate how your relationship is going to pan out as well. So if you have poor boundaries, or you don't really know what your boundaries are, you don't really know what your deal breakers are, then that's definitely your first step, is to figure that out first. But just evaluate, you know, is this person's behavior a deal breaker? Am I okay with this? Can I live with this? Can I tolerate this? Is this person's behavior in line with my values? Is this person's behavior treating me the way that I want to be treated? And then decide what you'd want to do going forward. You know, it could be many things. It could be, well, yeah, maybe this person's not right for you. Or you maybe can think, well, no, you know what, this is fine. I can deal with this. It's a small little issue. It's not going to, you know, mess with my relationship too much, or it's not really conflicting with my values. You know, a lot of the times when we feel like the partner's not appreciating us, it can be because we don't have security or self-love, right? However, it's also okay to want these things from a partner, to want that love, that resilience, that loyalty, that commitment, that strong sense of, I got you, I always have your back, you know. I think it's okay to want these things. You are allowed to want whatever it is that you want, and you're allowed to communicate that as well, and to ask for that. So I'm going to give you an example of my own experience so that it just ties into how these 5 tips work. Okay, so the first tip that I talked about was to focus on myself, right? On ourselves. So the example that I have is that, and it seems really trivial and it's very small, as I said, but to me, it's a big thing. I don't like that. I don't like when my partner ignores my comments, but he would respond to other people's comments. He would acknowledge their comments without fail. Okay, maybe yes, maybe he might forget a person's comment here and then, but it's been a consistent thing with us where he would not respond to my comments on his post, or he doesn't even like acknowledge it, but he would acknowledge other people. Now, I would have a totally different experience if he also forgets other people's comments, like he doesn't respond to them, but he does not. He responds to other people, okay? So there's just something with me and him that I don't get, and I've expressed this to him many times. And, in the beginning, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep doing it because I have unconditional love. I'm just going to keep giving love. And then it came to a point where I just didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel good in my body. I felt like, you know what, I'm giving love to someone that does not appreciate it. Yes, I have no expectations, but at the same time, I respect myself so much that I would not let somebody walk all over me like that or ignore me like that, especially when they're my partner, right? So I had to bring it up, and then he would make sure that he would comment, like he would respond to my comments, but then a few months later it would happen again, and then we had the conversation, it would happen again, right? So now it's come to a point where I've just realized, you know what, he just does not appreciate it. He doesn't value it, and that's okay. It's fine. He can tell me all he wants that he loves getting comments from me. He loves it, but his actions say otherwise. And that is something that I'm going to go off more. Okay, actions over words. I'm not going to believe in words. I'm going to believe in actions. And because actions don't lie, words do. So his actions tell me that he doesn't appreciate it. And so one day I just said, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like it's so silly. I don't feel appreciated. And then I started going into this rut of like, I don't feel appreciated at all by my partner. What is going on? And so I started to focus on myself. I thought, you know what, I think I'm just giving so much attention to him that I kind of left me in the dark, right? So then I started looking after making sure that my morning routine is done, my yoga, my meditation, making sure that I'm eating well, that I'm doing the things that I like, that I enjoy. Then I'm posting things that I care about more. And this might not relate to everyone, like social media and all of that, but I just hope that you can relate to it in some way. So then I started focusing on myself. I started focusing on like the things that I enjoy again, and I took the attention off of him. Not completely, obviously. I still love him. I still give him attention when we're together, and if he sends me a message, of course I respond with love. But I just stopped caring so much about what he was doing, and I stopped focusing more about what I was doing with my day. What did I need to feel nourished and nurtured? And for me, that was getting some sun, that was grounding, that was spending time at the beach, eating yummy food, talking to people. So I did all of those things, and gradually, of course, like this is not like one day you do all of the things and you feel amazing. No, this is going to be like some gradual changes, but it does happen very quickly over a fast period of time. So when I started doing that, and I stopped, posting so much about me and him, I started posting more about me, about things that I like, just keeping my individuality is really important, and my independence as well. So being that independent person that's like, you know what, I'm still me, like I'm still an individual. These are the things that make me light up. These are the things that I enjoy. So I did all of those things. I focused all of the attention back on myself. Now, the second thing, I started, taking, well, look, there wasn't much I can do about, commenting on my own posts. Like, that would be silly, right? So I started to appreciate myself in other ways. I started to take photos of the food that I really enjoy, and I would write like cute little messages about them. I would take photos of the food that I cooked, or when I cooked something really amazing, I was like, wow, this is like so delicious. It's like the best thing I've ever cooked. So appreciating myself, whatever it is, like I am appreciating me, like, and also appreciating like everything else around me, other people that I have in my life, my beautiful family and friends, my beautiful work colleagues, the beautiful sun, the beautiful weather that we have, the beautiful house that I have, I have breath in my lungs, that I can eat whatever I want. I have everything I need in any given moment. So I started appreciating all of those things, and then I was like, wow, I have so many things to appreciate. And I love that I can give that appreciation back to myself, because I felt good. I felt amazing. And then I just stopped commenting on his post. Not that, I don't want to or anything, but just naturally, I just didn't feel like it anymore. I just felt like, no, I just don't. Because I don't want to do things out of obligation, and I also don't want to do things when the person just doesn't appreciate it as well. So it's a natural consequence, right? It's a natural consequence. When somebody does something and then you're not appreciating them, obviously they're going to stop doing it. It's silly. It's silly to keep going, to keep giving when you don't appreciate it. Like, just save that beautiful energy and use that for something else. Okay? And so then I started thinking, you know what? There are all these other things that I'm grateful for that he does for me. I'm grateful, that he takes me around. I'm grateful that he gives me a lot of hugs and kisses. I'm grateful for that, he always wants to make me happy. So all of these things. And so when I had the discussion with him, I was able to come from like a really soft, loving place. And that makes a huge difference to the type of conversation you're going to have. Because if you come from like a resentful, negative, angry state, no conversation is going to go well. You're not expressing yourself vulnerably anymore. You're expressing yourself in an angry way. And when you're angry, your rational mind has like switched off. So you're not even thinking rationally. You're just like splitting out whatever that wants to come out of your mouth. So, and no one takes, that well as well. So, put yourself in their shoes. If your partner came to you and they wanted to tell you like something that you don't appreciate about them, and they're telling you in an angry way, you would probably feel defensive. So to remove that defense is to come from a loving and gentle and vulnerable place, and not a place of like blaming. It's just, I don't feel good because of this, and I just want to understand where your head's at, and have that conversation. Just open the conversation up, but also be mindful that their words may not match their actions in the future, and that's okay. They probably just want to make us feel happy in those moments, and they want to, keep the peace, whatever it is. Just, watch the actions going forward and see if the actions, are in line with what you want in the relationship. And so when I had that discussion, he said, yes, he's gonna do it. He just forgets, blah, blah. But his actions doesn't match up. And so I had to evaluate, like, is this something that I can tolerate? And yes, I can. It's a very small thing. So I hope all of these tips have helped you in some way. Please do let me know if any of these tips stick out to you the most. And I hope you have the most amazing day, and you're going to do amazing. You're going to do so, so well. Just keep going at it. Keep on the divine feminine journey. It is not an easy one, but it's definitely worth it. Have an amazing day.